Hello everybody and welcome to the October 2018 update from Clydebridge station. There's not been a lot of work done on the layout this month, but what work has been done I will take you through, and I've also got a couple of items to actually review this month as well. The first of some new arrivals from Bachman, coaching stock wise, have turned up at the layout, so I'll be showing you those as well as the work that's been done. And I've also got a couple of questions to ask all of you, so please stay tuned, and I look forward to your comments and queries and suggestions as well. Thanks for watching in advance. Now, the work that's been done down at in terms of infrastructure this month, as I say, is very limited, but it's actually involved mainly in the depot here. I've managed to obtain some more points, and I've managed to lay these two tracks down, these two holding sidings, so they are now fully ready to be used, and they've been tested and they all work. The only problem I've come across is on this siding here. This is not a Bachman point, this is a Hornby point, but whenever I run a loco up it and into it, it goes past the point, comes on here and loses power completely. So what I'm going to do is, I suspect it's just simply lack of power getting onto here. I'm going to install some dropper wires at the end here. That'll be done for the November update, and what I'll do is I'll put them in, give it another test and see if that solves the problem. If not, at this point will have to get replaced. And we'll try it that way, because I swapped the track over with this siding and I still had the same problem, so I suspect it's something to do with this point here. I don't know how I'm going to actually resolve that otherwise. So it's either going to be dropper wires at this end or replacing the point. I've got the dropper wires, I've got the soldering kit, that's going to be my best option. Do that first. Now, while we're down here, you can see the other change that's been made this month. I've managed to now get the shaper sheet and the shaper sheet plaster put on here, and I've also painted this, and that's actually all the painting that needs to be done for the rock face now finished. The next plan with regards to all of this is that at some point where this padlock is, I'm going to try and install a small fuel tank in the future. And I'm also, once I've got the track issues resolved here, going to glue down the fueling point and the little building that the office building that goes with it there. Get all the track problems sorted out here, and then what I'll definitely have is these sidings all ready for use, and it would then mean only the track into the engine shed needing to be replaced. The other thing to actually make mention of is that I'm going to be getting some ground frames at some point in the future to possibly install at a couple of points, and once they're actually installed, that'll allow me to start doing more ballasting along all of this bit here. These two reception siding, well, the reception siding and this holding siding are fine and ready for use now, and they could be ballasted down at any point, but there's not a lot else that can be ballasted. And once all that track work's down and done here, and we've got the building at the fueling tank down at the bottom there, the fuel storage tank, then obviously this depot is then fully operational, just needing ballasted. The only other job that I'll need to do is paint the buffer stops, but I've got the paint for that. Now, although I can't use this siding at the moment for running locos on, I can actually use the siding for demonstrating other things. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring in now the two purchases that I've recently got from Bachman. They come from Hatton's model shop in Widnes, and are the first of a batch of coaches that I've got an order from them. This is the first of the two coaches that I'm going to review. Now, both of them are Mark II Fs, and both of them are in Intercity livery. One has the executive branding, but this first coach which we're going to review has the Swallow branding. It's a Mark IIF air-conditioned coach, and it's an RFB. And for those of you that follow Dean Park Station, his latest video, I think it's video number 171, he reviews the Mark IIF that he's received from Bachmann as well. His is in blue and grey, and it's a first open. And that's an important link to this coach. No Mark II catering vehicles were ever built, but in the mid-1980s, British Rail's passenger carrying sector started to convert some vehicles to have buffet facilities and catering facilities. ScotRail had a batch of micro buffets made for the ScotRail Express services between Glasgow and Aberdeen and Edinburgh and Aberdeen. Intercity done the same, and some of these were actually later converted into slightly longer vehicles. But this vehicle here, the Mark IIF RFB, was a different concept. 22 Mark IIF FOs were converted at Derby Litchurch Lane Works in 1987 to 1989 into Mark IIF RFBs, and the vehicles that were converted were 22 of the coaches, similar to what David Watson's reviewed at Dean Park Station. Externally, the vehicles had the only changes on one side, where 2 windows and a toilet window were removed. There was no change to the windows on the other side. I'll just show you that there. But internally, the vehicles were completely gutted and rebuilt. The idea of these vehicles was that they were to be used mainly on cross-country locomotive hauled services, replacing Mark I buffets. And I believe the gentleman's name is Mark Appleby. He has some videos on YouTube of cross-country loco hauled trains, and you'll see these on them. The Mark IIF RFBs had sister vehicles number 6701 to 8, which were Mark IIF RLBs. Those ones were mainly used for the overnight services, and that was the plan for these, but they got used on daytime services, not on the West Coast Main Line, however. On the West Coast Main Line, they actually went a different way, did Intercity, and converted some Mark IIIs into catering vehicles, including some former HST vehicles. Now, the Mark IIF had the kitchen microwave ovens on this side, and the counter was on the other side. And the vehicles survived well into the privatisation era, the last ones being withdrawn in about 2002. There is actually a photo, and I don't have it with me, but there is a photo of one of these in the April 1989 edition of Motive Power Monthly, where they're looking around Derby Litchurch Lane Works, and it's actually got a photo of one of these taken from this side. So it would have provided a good comparison. The first thing I will say to you, I'll just get the camera down here and show you, is that on the Motive Power Monthly photo, it doesn't have this little thing here, and that's the telephone symbol. That suggests that this was fitted with a telephone. The vehicle livery is presented externally quite correctly. The bit above the vents there is always notoriously difficult to get. Oops, sorry. But I think Bachmann have managed to get that quite correct. The detailing is very good. Just on the door there, it says not for public use. And also the bogie springs have been picked out in red, which is what they would have been outside the factory. What hasn't been picked out properly is just here, where there's a little L-shaped part there. That is painted black. But on the photo I've seen, it was painted red. So that's one bit that Bachmann have got wrong there, but it's only a minor gripe. I mean, folk wouldn't really pay attention to that. The seating is in the correct 2+1 formation, and the carriage end doors, as they have on the other vehicle, which I'll mention to you just shortly, are picked out correctly. Looking at the underside of the vehicle, and I'll just pick it up now so we can have a look at it, you'll notice just here that there's a gap there. This coach is not DCC equipped, and that's why that gap is black there. I was not planning to use DCC fitted coaches on the trains. The only coach I'll have that will be DCC fitted will be the DBSO, which we'll review at another point. The coach lighting jumpers and the buffers are all correctly there. Now there is a detailing kit which is supplied here as well with instructions on how to fit things on. There's tail lights and flashing tail lights and various other things. Read the instructions very carefully when you are fitting them on, because there are certain detailings that you won't be able to use with the NEM couplers which is on these coaches. So do be aware of that. Read instructions very carefully. The other coach which I've got here is also Mark IIF, but it's a TSO, and what I'll do is I'll just actually place it on here so you can see it better. There we go. So that's a Mark IIF TSO, again all correctly lined. This one has the Intercity executive style lettering rather than the Swallow style lettering. That is not a bad thing at all, because at the time that this layout was set in 1989, the coaches themselves, there was mixed branding on rakes of trains as well as mixed liveries. But like the RFB, the TSO is correctly picked out. This one obviously wasn't fitted with a telephone at the time because it's not got the telephone symbol on it. But the coaches have got red seats in them. It's not visible on there. Like the RFB, that little L-shaped point there is actually black when it should be orange. The bogie springs are orange, but I'm sure if you were to weather them you would actually be able to get them down to a dirty colour. Again, it's not going to be fitted with DCC, which is what I'm happy with. I'm very happy with these two coaches. They have been tested on the ramp already and they are performing quite well. They're waiting Mark IIF BSOs, and that'll then allow me to have this as a daytime train and a sleeper train. Now the observant among you will also notice that I have already got a Hornby Mark IIF BSO. So you'll be wondering why I've ordered two more. Well, the reason for that is that the Hornby ones have had a notorious issue with the couplings coming off. I've had to cannibalise these because I lost the couplings on them, and I've cannibalised them, but I've kept the wheels. But you can see they're just slotted in there. They're not proper NEM ones, they're just slotted in, you see, and they kept coming out. But I kept the bodies, and what I'm thinking about doing is, and I'm going to actually get your advice on this, folks. I'm thinking about getting more couplers for those Hornby ones and wheels and gluing the couplers into place using super glue and seeing if that works. Now, if that does work, it would mean that I would have some more coaches, but I want you to just give me your own thoughts on that, folks, as to whether that's actually a good idea. And the three Hornby coaches would then stay as their own rake. This one would actually join those other two once I get wheels and replacement couplers and glue them in. So please give me your thoughts on that. Background to the Bachmann ones, and I have to say, if I was to give them a score, I would say I would give them 9.5 out of 10. The only gripe, as I say, is that part of the underframe equipment is not picked out in the correct colour. And that is really about it. There's nothing else with them that I can actually fault. I'm very, very impressed with them. The Mark and the coaches themselves can be run with blue-grey coaches as well. What will be interesting to see is if Bachmann decide to bring out their own version of the Mark III in ScotRail and Intercity liveries, and to see how that would contrast with the Oxford Rail ones. But as I say, I'm very happy with those coaches right now, and in the near future I hope they'll have at least one daytime rake, possibly two. But if you could give me your thoughts on my suggestion for the Hornby Mark IIs as to whether or not I should actually glue them in. There is another arrival that I've got. I can't run it on the layout at the moment, but I'll let you see what it is. This is the latest locomotive to arrive on the layout, and I've not got it running on the layout, so the power is actually off at the moment. And this is an Intercity liveried, Swallow liveried Class 47 47835 Windsor Castle with some weathering on it. The reason it's not running on the layout at the moment is it's only DCC ready, it's not DCC fitted yet. So I've been employing it up and down the test track that I've got on the layout right now. 47835 will provide an interesting contrast with the pristine livery on 47834 Firefly. And this and 834 will haul the Intercity trains that you see parked behind you. And they maybe will be used on some local duties as well. I'll make that decision up as I go. Now, so this was bought on eBay, so it's actually been used, but it has had some weathering done to it. Although one thing I have noticed is that there's a couple little blemishes in the livery just there, but I can live with that. The locomotive's been performing quite well on the AC test track that I've got below here, which is this here, and that shows you where the regional railway stock is at the moment, by the way. So it'll be sometime in November at the earliest before I'm able to actually go and get a chip put into this. But once I do, this locomotive will be ready to start pulling some carriages. Windsor Castle still exists today, by the way, this locomotive, but I believe it carries yet another number. I think it's 47798, but somebody will correct me on that, I'm sure. The locomotive is correctly presented with a new cab with a flush end at one end and the insetted end there. And as I say, once she's DCC fitted, she'll then get used on the layout. She'll be given another quick testing on the layout. I've been running it back and forward on the test track in the meantime, just to get the locomotive running ready for its DCC fitting. I'll probably, well, I know I'll be buying more Class 47s in the future. Whether they'll carry executive Intercity livery or large logo livery, I don't know yet. I'll see what there is. But this locomotive I'm very happy with as well, and it provides an interesting contrast with 834 there. Now, just before I do finish and give you the little plugs, I've still not been able to source any more of these from my local model shop, so I may actually have to try and get them from Gauge Master online. And that would then allow me to have it going all the way along there. And I've got a little cunning plan, as I say, for what I've decided upon what I'm going to have there now. But I'll keep that to myself for the moment. Now, if you like your model railway layouts, well, Dean Park Station, he's actually had a BR Blue running session on his layout, which is video number 172. That just went up a couple of days ago at the time of the filming of this. So go and check him out. And if you like your BR Blue liveries, you'll certainly like that video. Everard Junction's not produced something for about a month or so, but hopefully we'll see Richard Warren back with that soon. And give Strathpeffer Junction a quick check out, because he's building up his layout at the moment, and both he and Dean Park Station are on Instagram as well, so do check out their Instagram profiles. New Junction has had a couple of recent videos put up, so please do go and check him out as well. And Ulton TMD, that supplied me 47535, give his videos a check out. He's just recently put up a brand new one, and I'm sure he'll look forward to your viewing of them. There's plenty of other people out there that follow me, too much to mention, so thank you once again to all of those who follow me every month. I don't know exactly what work I'll have done by the end of November on the layout, but hopefully we'll be well up with something, and hopefully we'll have some more coaches to review as well. One last thing, I've gave my own thoughts here about the Mark IIF coaches. What do you think? You go and check them out and have a look and let me know what you think of them as well. Well, that's all for this month, so please enjoy your model railways, and I shall see you next month. In the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and bye bye for now.